First contact and rising tensions. The day Earth made first contact with the galactic hegemony began like any other. Dr. Elena Reyes, lead xenolinguist at the United Earth Space Command, was poring over radio telescope data when an unmistakably artificial signal caught her eye. Her heart raced as she realized its implications. Humanity was not alone. Within hours, the news spread across the globe. Governments scrambled, religious leaders pontificated, and ordinary citizens looked to the stars with a mix of wonder and trepidation. As the signal's origin drew closer, it became clear that whoever sent it was coming to Earth. 3 days later, a sleek, otherworldly vessel appeared in orbit. It dwarfed the International Space Station, its iridescent hull defying Earth's most advanced sensors. A message, broadcast in perfect English, requested a meeting with Earth's leaders. The United Nations hastily convened an emergency session. After heated debate, they selected a delegation led by Secretary General Amara Okoro. As their shuttle approached the alien ship, Okoro steeled herself for humanity's first extraterrestrial diplomatic mission. The hegemony representatives were a sight to behold. Towering, avian creatures with iridescent plumage and 4 arms, they introduced themselves as the Zarquin. Their leader, High Emissary Krexall, regarded the humans with an unsettling mix of curiosity and condescension. "Welcome, children of Earth," Krexall chirped, mandibles clicking. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Hegemony, the united governing body of over 300 sapient species." Secretary General Okoro, ever the diplomat, smiled warmly. "On behalf of humanity, we are honored to make your acquaintance. We look forward to peaceful exchange and mutual understanding." What followed was a whirlwind of cultural exchange and technological revelations. The hegemony shared tantalizing glimpses of faster-than-light travel, energy production that could end Earth's resource wars, and medical advances that promised to eradicate disease. In return, they expressed great interest in human art, music, and philosophy. But as weeks turned to months, cracks began to show in the facade of intergalactic goodwill. Dr. Rice, now part of the diplomatic team, noticed subtle shifts in the Zarquins' behavior. They became increasingly evasive when questioned about Earth's potential membership in the hegemony. One night, working late in the liaison office aboard the Zarquin ship, Elena overheard a heated conversation between 2 alien officers. Her implanted translator struggled with her rapid speech, but she caught enough to send a chill down her spine. Humans advancing too quickly. Potential threat to hegemony stability. Recommend immediate action. Elena's mind raced. She had to warn Earth's leadership, but how to do it without alerting the Zarquin? As she contemplated her next move, a shadow fell across her desk. She looked up to see Krexall looming over her, eyes glinting with malice. "Dr. Reyes," the High Emissary's voice was cold. "I believe you've heard something you shouldn't have." Back on Earth, tensions were rising. Despite the hegemony's promises of shared technology, little concrete had materialized. Some nations, frustrated with the UN's cautious approach, began pursuing their own negotiations with the aliens. The global economy teetered on the brink as corporations and governments alike jockeyed for position in this new galactic paradigm. Colonel Marcus Chen of the newly formed Earth Defense Force watched the situation with growing unease. A career military man with a PhD in xenobiology, Chen had been skeptical of the Zarquins' motives from the start. Now, as reports of missing scientists and unexplained phenomena trickled in, his suspicions deepened. Chen voiced his concerns to General Adebayo, his superior at EDF headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains. "Sir, I believe the hegemony is deliberately stalling us while they assess our capabilities. We need to accelerate our own research and development, with or without their help." Adebayo frowned. "You may be right, Chen, but we can't risk provoking them. One wrong move could lead to—" The general's words were cut short by a piercing alarm. A junior officer burst into the room, face pale. "Sir, we've lost contact with Outpost Artemis on the far side of the moon." Chen and Adebayo exchanged grim looks. Outpost Artemis was Earth's most advanced research facility, working on reverse engineering hegemony technology. Its radio silence could only mean one thing. As Earth's military scrambled to respond, the Zarquin ship abruptly broke orbit. Secretary General Okoro's frantic calls for explanation went unanswered. Hours later, a message arrived from deep space, its tone a far cry from the hegemony's initial overtures of friendship. People of Earth, Krexal's voice boomed from screens worldwide. Your rapid advancement and uncontrolled ambition pose a threat to galactic stability. The hegemony has deemed it necessary to curb your species' growth. Submit to our guidance, or face the consequences of your defiance. The ultimatum hung in the air like a thunderclap. Humanity stood at a crossroads, facing an adversary beyond their wildest imaginations. But as fear and uncertainty gripped the globe, something else stirred in the heart of every human: determination. In the bowels of EDF headquarters, Colonel Chen clenched his fists. "They have no idea who they're dealing with," he muttered. "If it's a fight they want, then by God, we'll give them one they'll never forget." As governments worldwide convened in emergency sessions, as scientists worked feverishly to unlock the secrets of alien tech, as ordinary citizens grappled with this new reality, one thing became clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. The galactic hegemony had made a grave mistake in underestimating the tenacity, creativity, and sheer stubborn will of the human race. The stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. Earth, the underdog, against the might of an interstellar empire. But as any student of human history could attest, it was never wise to bet against the planet of apes that had clawed their way from caves to the stars. The hegemony was about to learn a painful lesson. Do not fuck with Earth. Earth's defiance and preparation. The hegemony's ultimatum echoed across Earth, a galactic gauntlet thrown at humanity's feet. For a moment, the world held its breath. Then, like a slumbering giant roused to fury, it roared back. In an unprecedented display of unity, the nations of Earth cast aside their differences. The United Earth Defense Council, hastily formed from military and scientific leaders worldwide, convened in the underground bunkers of Geneva. Their mission: to forge a plan that would ensure humanity's survival and independence. Colonel Marcus Chen found himself at the heart of this endeavor. As he strode into the war room, the faces that greeted him were grim but determined. General Adebayo nodded to him, gesturing towards a holographic display of the solar system. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we face an enemy with technology centuries beyond our own. But what we lack in advancement, we make up for in ingenuity and the will to survive. It's time we show the galaxy what humans are made of." Over the next weeks, Earth became a hive of feverish activity. Factories retooled for wartime production, churning out weapons and spacecraft at an unprecedented rate. Scientists worked around the clock, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge in quantum physics, material science, and artificial intelligence. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant physicist from Tokyo University, made a breakthrough in reverse engineering the hegemony's faster-than-light technology. Her team had been poring over data collected from the Zarquin ship's brief stay in Earth orbit. "It's not just about speed," she explained to Chen and the Council, her eyes alight with excitement. "Their drives create localized bubbles of warped spacitime. If we can replicate this, we can match their mobility and potentially develop new weapons based on the same principles." Meanwhile, in orbit, construction began on a series of defensive platforms. Designed to conceal themselves within the debris field of old satellites, these silent sentinels would be Earth's first line of defense against invasion. But humanity's preparations weren't limited to military might. Diplomatic efforts, spearheaded by the now-released Dr. Elena Reyes, sought to build alliances with other species chafing under hegemony rule. Using encrypted quantum channels to avoid detection, Reyes made contact with the Nyx, a shadowy race known for their mastery of stealth technology. The Vulcan, a species of silicon-based life forms with incredible computational abilities, also expressed interest in an alliance against their hegemony overlords. "We're not alone in this fight," Rides reported to the council. "There are cracks in the hegemony's facade of unity. If we play our cards right, we can turn their own empire against them." As these alliances solidified, Earth received its first taste of advanced alien technology. The Nix shared plans for cloaking devices that could render entire ships invisible, while the Vulcan provided insights into AI systems that could outmaneuver even the most sophisticated hegemony battle computers. But the hegemony wasn't idle. Reports from deep space probes and intercepted communications painted a grim picture. A massive invasion fleet was assembling, dwarfing anything humanity had ever conceived. In a secret facility beneath the Atacama Desert, work began on Project Prometheus, humanity's ace in the hole. Led by Dr. Zara Okoro, Secretary General Amara Okoro's estranged daughter, and a prodigy in theoretical physics, the project aimed to weaponize the very fabric of space-time. "If we can create localized pockets of altered physics," Zara explained to a rapt audience of military brass and scientists, "we can potentially neutralize the hegemony's technological advantage. Imagine turning off gravity in the middle of an enemy fleet, or accelerating time within a bubble to age their ships to dust." The implications were staggering and not lost on Colonel Chen. "Doctor," he said slowly, "you're talking about a weapon that could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. The ethical implications are less concerning than the extinction of our species." Zara cut in, her eyes flashing. "The hegemony gave us no choice. We'll do whatever it takes to survive." As Project Prometheus progressed, humanity faced another challenge: the psychological toll of impending war. How do you prepare a species for combat against an enemy they've only just learned exists? The answer came in the form of the Earth Unity program. Schools implemented new curricula emphasizing humanity's resilience throughout history. Media outlets produced stirring documentaries showcasing Earth's diversity and the strength it provided. Even entertainment shifted, with popular shows and games simulating alien encounters in space combat. In orbit, the first graduates of the hastily established Space Force Academy took command of Earth's fledgling fleet. These ships, a hybrid of human innovation and reverse-engineered alien tech, represented humanity's best hope for survival. Captain Aria Zhang, top of her class and daughter of Chinese and Nigerian immigrants, stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiant, Earth's first FTL-capable warship. As her crew ran final checks, she couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. They were about to embark on humanity's first deep space patrol, prodding the edges of the solar system for signs of the coming invasion. "Helm, set course for the Kuiper Belt," she ordered, her voice steady. "Let's show these hegemony bastards that humanity's reach has grown." As the Defiant's engines flared to life, as Project Prometheus entered its final stages, as allies gathered and Earth steeled itself, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the air. Humanity had been backed into a corner, but now it was ready to come out swinging. In the depths of space, the hegemony invasion fleet approached, unaware that their easy conquest had become anything but. They expected to find a cowed, primitive species ripe for subjugation. Instead, they were about to face the full, terrible wrath of a humanity united, prepared, and fighting for its very existence. The battle for Sol was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The battle for Sol. The void of space erupted in a dazzling display of light as the hegemony's invasion fleet dropped out of FTL on the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to behemoth dreadnoughts, filled the sky in a terrifying armada that seemed to stretch to infinity. On the bridge of the EDF Defiant, Captain Aria Zhang's breath caught in her throat. The enemy fleet was even larger than their worst estimates. "Comms, alert Earth Defense Command. The hegemony is here," she ordered, her voice tight but controlled. "All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill." Back on Earth, Klaxons blared as the alerts spread across the globe. In the war room beneath Geneva, Colonel Chen and the Earth Defense Council watched grimly as holographic displays lit up with the approaching threat. "They're here," General Adebayo announced, his usually booming voice oddly quiet. "May God have mercy on us all." But as the hegemony fleet advanced, they encountered something unexpected. The space around them shimmered, and suddenly they were surrounded by Earth's defense fleet. Ships that had been hidden by Nick's cloaking technology, decloaked in perfect ambush position. High Admiral Krexall, leader of the hegemony forces, mandibles clicked in surprise. Impossible. These primitives shouldn't have this level of technology. Captain Zhang's voice crackled over the comms of every Earth vessel. "All ships, execute Operation Hornet's Nest. Fight smart, fight hard, and may Earth be with you." The battle erupted in a fury of energy weapons, missiles, and maneuvering that defied the laws of physics. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought with a ferocity that caught the hegemony off guard. Vulcan AI systems predicted enemy movements with uncanny accuracy, allowing human pilots to dance through the chaos with preternatural skill. On Mars, a hidden base activated. Massive rail guns, built in secret using plans provided by the silicon-based Vulcan, began launching projectiles at relativistic speeds. The hypersonic slugs tore through hegemony ships, each impact releasing energy equivalent to a nuclear blast. Admiral Krexall watched in growing horror as his supposedly invincible fleet was slowly but surely being whittled down. "How?" he screeched at his advisors. "How are they doing this?" But Earth's defenders were paying a heavy price. For every hegemony ship destroyed, 2 or 3 human vessels were lost. The space around Earth was becoming a graveyard of twisted metal and frozen bodies. On the Defiant, Captain Zhang gritted her teeth as another nearby friendly ship exploded. "We can't keep this up forever," she muttered. "Command, this is Zhang. We need Prometheus. Now." In the underground lab in the Atacama, Dr. Zara Okoro received the message. She looked at the experimental device before her, a swirling mass of exotic matter and energy barely contained within a magnetic bottle. "It's not ready," she whispered, "but it'll have to do." Colonel Chen's voice came over the secure line. "Doctor, we're out of options. Whatever Prometheus can do, we need it now." Zora closed her eyes, said a silent prayer, and activated the device. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, in the space between Earth and Mars, reality itself seemed to hiccup. A bubble of distorted space-time expanded outward, engulfing a significant portion of the hegemony fleet. Inside the bubble, laws of physics went haywire. Some ships imploded as gravity increased 1,000-fold. Others aged millennia in seconds, their hulls crumbling to dust. A few simply winked out of existence, transported to who knows where in space-time. Admiral Krexall watched in abject terror as a third of his fleet simply ceased to be. "By the Founders," he gasped. "What manner of demons are these humans?" The tide of battle shifted dramatically. Earth's forces, bolstered by the success of Prometheus, pressed their advantage. The Nix allies unveiled their ultimate stealth technology, phase-shifting entire squadrons into a parallel dimension before reappearing inside the hegemony formation. But the hegemony still had one last, terrible card to play. A massive ship, easily dwarfing all others, moved into position above Earth's North Pole. Energy readings from the vessel spiked off the charts. "Oh no," Dr. Rice breathed, analyzing the data. "It's a planet killer. They're going to destroy Earth rather than let us win." As the super whip on charge, desperation fueled human ingenuity one last time. Captain Zhang, her ship battered but still functional, made a fateful decision. "All power to engines and forward shields," she commanded. "Plot a collision course with that superweapon." "Captain," her XO protested. "That's suicide." Zhang's eyes were steel. "That's an order, Commander. It's been an honor serving with you all." The Defiant streaked across space, dodging fire from hegemony ships, on a one-way trip to save Earth. As they approached the planet killer, Zhang opened a channel to Earth. "This is Captain Area Zhang of the EDF Defiant. Tell our story. Tell them we did not go quietly. Earth prevails." With that, the Defiant slammed into the planet killer's main emitter at relativistic speed. The resulting explosion was visible from Earth's surface, a new brief star in the sky. The hegemony superweapon, its delicate systems shattered by the impact, began to break apart. A chain reaction ripped through the massive ship, culminating in an explosion that rivaled a supernova. In the war room, Chen watched as the explosion cleared, revealing a battered but intact Earth. The remaining hegemony ships, leaderless and demoralized, began to retreat. For a moment, there was silence. Then, a cheer erupted that seemed to shake the very foundations of the planet. Humanity had done the impossible. They had stood against the might of a galactic empire and emerged victorious. As the dust settled and the enormous task of rebuilding began, Colonel Chen stood before the United Earth Council. "Today, we have proven that humanity is not to be trifled with," he declared. "But our journey is far from over. The galaxy now knows of our existence, of our strength. We must be prepared for what comes next." In orbit, the remnants of Earth's fleet regrouped. New ships were already under construction, incorporating captured hegemony technology. On Mars, terraforming projects that had been theoretical were now being fast-tracked. Humanity had been bloodied, but unbowed. The battle for Sol was over, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had only just begun. And this time, they would take the fight to the stars. Counterattack and revelations. The stars blurred into streaks of light as the EDF Vengeance, Earth's new flagship, dropped out of FTL on the edge of hegemony space. On the bridge, Admiral Marcus Chen, newly promoted after the Battle of Sol, surveyed the alien star system before him. "Status report," Chen ordered, his voice steady despite the weight of command. His XO, Commander Yuki Tanaka, formerly the physicist who had cracked FTL travel, responded crisply. "All systems nominal. Admiral, the fleet is in formation and awaiting your orders." Chen nodded, a grim smile playing on his lips. "Then let's introduce ourselves to the neighborhood. Launch the Nyx probes." Sleek, invisible ships slipped away from the Earth fleet, their Nyx-derived stealth systems rendering them undetectable to hegemony sensors. Humanity had come to return the favor of an unexpected visit. As the probes gathered intelligence, Dr. Elena Reyes worked furiously in her lab aboard the Vengeance. The linguist-turned-diplomat had a new mission now: to decrypt hegemony communications and unravel the mysteries of their vast empire. "Admiral," Reyes called over the comm, excitement evident in her voice. "I've found something. You need to see this." In the war room, Reyes pulled up a holographic display of intercepted hegemony transmissions. "Look here," she pointed to a series of encoded messages. "These aren't military orders or status reports. They're distress calls." Chen's brow furrowed. "Distress calls? From where?" "From within hegemony space," Reyes explained. "And they're not just from one species. It's like half the hegemony is at war with itself." As the Earth fleet pushed deeper into enemy territory, they encountered scenes that defied their expectations. Worlds lay in ruins, not from external attack, but from internal strife. Refugee ships fled from battles between hegemony factions. The galactic superpower was tearing itself apart. On a remote outpost at the fringes of hegemony space, Earth forces made a startling discovery. A group of alien scientists, members of a species called the Orcs, had been imprisoned for their opposition to hegemony policies. The lead scientist, Kalon, explained their situation to a stunned Chen and Reyes. "The hegemony you fought," Kalon said, his multifaceted eyes blinking rapidly, "is not the true face of our galactic community. They are usurpers, a military junta that seized power centuries ago." Kalon went on to reveal a shocking truth. The hegemony's attack on Earth hadn't been about curbing human expansion. It had been a desperate attempt to secure a weapon powerful enough to crush the growing rebellion within their own ranks. Your Prometheus device, Kalan chittered. They believed it could end the civil war in their favor. They never expected you to use it against them. As Chen digested this information, another crisis loomed. Deep space sensors detected a massive energy buildup in a nearby system. The hegemony loyalists, it seemed, had a doomsday weapon of their own. If they activate that weapon, Commander Tanaka warned, analyzing the data, it could trigger a chain reaction that would destabilize spacetime throughout the sector. Billions would die, and interstellar travel could become impossible for millennia. Chen's jaw set in determination. Then we stopped them. Not just for Earth now, but for every species caught in this madness. The Earth fleet, bolstered by defecting hegemony ships and their new Arxer allies, set course for the weapon's location. As they approached, they faced not just enemy fire, but the very fabric of spacetime beginning to warp and twist around them. Dr. Zara Okoro, monitoring the situation from her lab on the Vengeance, realized the terrible truth. The weapon, she gasped. It's powered by a captive singularity. If it destabilizes, we be looking at a black hole that could swallow half the galaxy, Chen finished grimly. In a desperate gambit, Chen authorized the use of their own game-changing technology. Zara's refined Prometheus device could potentially contain the damage, but deploying it would mean sacrificing the Vengeance and all aboard her. As the ship moved into position, Chen opened a channel to the fleet. This is Admiral Chen. What we do here today isn't just for Earth. It's for every species that has suffered under tyranny, for every world that deserves a chance at freedom. Whatever happens, remember, humanity stood tall when it mattered most. With a nod to Zora, Chen gave the order. The Prometheus device activated, creating a bubble of altered spacetime around the hegemony weapon. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist, the stars outside distorting like a funhouse mirror. For a moment that stretched into eternity, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Then, with a silent flash that seemed to ripple across the very cosmos, both the hegemony weapon and the Vengeance vanished. In the stunned silence that followed, the remaining Earth ships found themselves face to face with the remnants of the hegemony fleet. But instead of renewed hostilities, a message came through on all frequencies. Attention Earth forces and allies, a tired voice transmitted. This is High Commander Vexera of the Hegemony Reformation Front. We surrender, and we ask for your help in building a better galaxy. As the shocking news spread across the fleet and back to Earth, humanity found itself at a crossroads. They had come seeking vengeance, but found themselves in a position to forge a new future for the entire galaxy. The war was over, but the real challenges were just beginning. Humanity, the upstart species that had defied an empire, now had to learn how to help build one anew. In the debris field where the Vengeance had made her last stand, a faint energy signature pulsed. Unnoticed amidst the chaos of surrender and celebration, a small escape pod drifted silently through the stars, carrying within it the seeds of Earth's next great adventure. Triumph of the human spirit. The great hall of the Galactic Concord buzzed with activity. Representatives from 100 species, once part of the fractured hegemony, now gathered to shape the future of their shared cosmos. At the center of it all, somewhat to their own surprise, stood the humans. Dr. Elena Reyes, now Earth's senior diplomat, took a deep breath as she prepared to address the assembly. The last year had been a whirlwind of negotiations, peacekeeping missions, and frantic learning about galactic politics. Now it all came down to this moment. Esteemed colleagues, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. A year ago, humanity was unknown to you. We were attacked, nearly destroyed, all because of fear and misunderstanding. But in our darkest hour, we discovered something profound. We are not alone in our desire for freedom, for justice, for a better tomorrow. As Reyes spoke, screens around the hall displayed images from the past year. humans working alongside Orcs scientists to stabilize regions of space-time damaged in the war. Earth ships delivering aid to worlds ravaged by the hegemony's civil war. Former enemies learning to cooperate in the face of shared challenges. We stand here today, not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as partners, Rise continued. The Prometheus Accords before you are not just a peace treaty. They are a roadmap to a galaxy where diversity is celebrated, where knowledge is freely shared, and where no species need fear subjugation. In orbit high above, the EDS Phoenix, Earth's new flagship, stood watch. On its bridge, Admiral Yuki Tanaka, who had stepped into the role after Chen's apparent sacrifice, monitored the proceedings with a mixture of pride and apprehension. Quite a speech. A familiar voice came from behind her. Tanaka spun to see Marcus Chen, looking older and with a nasty scar across his face, but very much alive. "Admiral," Tanaka gasped. "But how?" Chen smiled wryly. "Let's just say the universe is full of surprises. Dr. Okoro's device didn't destroy us. It sent us elsewhere. It's taken us this long to find our way back." As Chen brought Tanaka up to speed on his incredible journey, down on the planet's surface, another crucial meeting was taking place. In a quiet garden away from the main conference, Zara Okoro sat with Kalon, the Orcs scientist, and Vexera, former High Commander of the Hegemony. "The technology we've developed," Zara said, her voice low and serious. "It's too dangerous to be controlled by any one species or government." Kalon nodded, his antenna twitching thoughtfully. "Agreed. The temptation for misuse would be too great. Which is why," Vexera added, "we proposed the creation of the Cosmic Academy, a neutral organization dedicated to the responsible research and development of advanced technologies." Back in the Great Hall, Rise was concluding her speech. "And so, we invite all species to join us in this grand endeavor. Let us forge a future where the stars are not a battlefield, but a canvas for our shared aspirations." The chamber erupted in applause. Not universal. There were still skeptics, still those who eyed the upstart humans with suspicion. But it was a start. As the formal proceedings concluded, Rise found herself approached by a small, unassuming alien she didn't recognize. "Quite impressive," the creature said, its voice a melodious trill. "You've certainly made an impact on galactic politics." Rise smiled diplomatically. "We've all worked hard to reach this point. And you are." The alien's eyes twinkled with an ancient wisdom. "Oh, just an observer. But I think it's time my people made their presence known as well. We've watched for eons, but your species, you've shown us something new." Before Rise could inquire further, the alien vanished, leaving her to wonder if she'd imagined the entire encounter. Months passed. The Galactic Concord took its first, halting steps. There were setbacks. Old grudges don't disappear overnight, and more than once Earth found itself playing peacekeeper between former hegemony rivals. But slowly, surely, a new order began to emerge. The Cosmic Academy opened its doors, with Zara Okoro as its first director. Brilliant minds from across the galaxy came together, tackling challenges that would have been insurmountable for any one species alone. On Earth, society grappled with its new reality. Humans were no longer alone in the universe, no longer even the underdogs. Schools taught xenobiology alongside Earth sciences. The economy restructured around new technologies and interstellar trade. And yet, for all that had changed, the core of what made humanity unique remained. Their adaptability, their creativity, their indomitable spirit. These were the qualities that had seen them through their trial by fire. And these were the gifts they now shared with the galaxy. In a small ceremony at UN headquarters, now expanded to include off-world representatives, a new monument was unveiled. A simple plaque, bearing the words that had become humanity's unofficial motto. "Do not trifle with Earth, but do not fear to join hands with her in friendship." As the sun set on this new era, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the Phoenix, gazing out at the star-studded void. Next to him, Dr. Reyes and the others who had been at the heart of humanity's journey joined in quiet reflection. "You know," Chen said softly, "when I joined the military, I never imagined this would be where we'd end up. Defending Earth, sure, but helping to rebuild a galaxy." Reyes smiled. "Life's full of surprises. I started out studying languages, and now I'm helping write the laws of a galactic society. And I was just a physicist," Zara added. "Now I'm responsible for some of the most dangerous knowledge in the universe." They fell silent for a moment, each lost in their own thoughts. Finally, Chen spoke again. "Whatever comes next, whatever challenges we face, I know this: humanity will face it head-on, with all the courage, ingenuity, and heart that got us here." As if in response to his words, a notification chimed. A new signal from far beyond the edges of known space. An invitation, perhaps, or a challenge. The next chapter of humanity's cosmic adventure was about to begin. The stars beckoned, and Earth, no longer alone, no longer afraid, stood ready to answer the call.